भवितारो नृकं भद्रं ते विश्वपश्यन्ति च ते यस्य तस्मादांशभूतस्ते आत्मतश्लोकभूश्रुता Anyone from Mataji's? तस्मादंशभूतस्ते आत्मजलोकविश्रुता भवितारो नृगवृत्तं त्रे विश्वपश्यन्ति च ते यस्य. We'll do 32 and 33 as well, but we'll just repeat them once. So let's read 32 and 33 together. Evam kamavaram dattva pratijagmu sureshwaraha sobhajitayo samyag dampatyormishatos tatha. And then 33. Samobhut brahmanom shena dato vishnosto yogavit durvasa sankrasasyammo nibado girasya prajaha. You will have sons who will represent a partial manifestation of our potency, and because we desire all good fortune for you, those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world. Thus, while the couple looked on, the three deities Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara disappeared from the place after bestowing upon Atri the benediction. Therefore, from the partial representation of Brahma, the moon god was born to them. From the partial representation of Vishnu, the great mystic Dattatreya was born, and from the partial representation of Sankarshan, Lord Shiva, Durvasa was born. Now you may hear from me of the many sons of Angira. So we're on Canto 4, where a lot of names come and a lot of descriptions about different various sages, their children, and all that genealogy and all that history comes. So one such great personality is Durvasa. Now we'll start today's class with a very wonderful story, which I'm sure all of you must have heard a lot of times, but it's one of my favorites, and it really teaches us a lot of valuable lessons which we should take from this story. So once there was a very wonderful king. He was a king, and he was unattached to his subjects. Now when we say he was unattached to his subjects, it doesn't mean that he was neglectful. He used to take his subjects very seriously. He would be attached to serving them, but not on that servitude, not towards that position in which he was serving. He was not attached to being the king, but he was attached to being the servant. He was attached to his service to the subjects, to the public. So this king was a wonderful king, and he was a wonderful devotee of the Lord. Now ideally, when we say grahasthas, we sometimes say that, okay, grahasthas, they might have so many responsibilities. It is quite possible that they might not be able to focus on their spirituality, or they might not be able to be that serious in their sadhana. But this king was exemplary in his devotion towards the Lord. And in fact, this verse also comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is mentioned how in different ways he would serve Krishna. He would engage his body, his mind, his senses in the service of the Lord. So the verse is Savai mana Krishna padara vindor vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu varnane karau harer mandir marjanadisu shrutim chakshuyata sat kathadaye mukunda lingalaya darshane drishav tadbhrita gotra sparshin riga sangama grihanam cha tad padasara saroj saurabhe श्रीमत् तुलस्य रसानम तत् अर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्र पदा पानने शीरो ऋषिकेशो पदाभिवर वंदने कामं च दस्य न तु काम कामस्य यथोत काम श्लोक जनस्य रथि. Maharaj Amrish always engaged in his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. With his words, he was describing the glories of the Lord. Vaishnavas, usually there are different categories of saintly personalities. There are munis who keep the vow of silence. But Vaishnavas, they are also munis, but they are also greatest speakers because they're always glorifying Krishna with their mouth. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would glorify the devotees of the Lord as if he would have millions of mouths. And so this king, whenever he would get time, he would only use his speech in glorifying the beauty, the knowledge, the fame, the renunciation, and the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this king would glorify the Lord with his mouth, and then this king would, with his hands, he would clean the deities, and he would clean the temple of the Lord, temple margin. Today, I've been asked to end the class a little early because brahmacharis have to engage in maha cleaning. So Amrish Maharaj, they're actually brahmacharis following the standards of grihasthas. Amrish Maharaj was always engaged in cleaning the temple of the Lord with his hands. And with his ears, Shrunvatam Sakatha Krishnam. So with his ears, he would always listen to the glories of the Lord. Sada Sevya, Srimad Bhagavati Katha, Yasya Shravana Matrena Hari Chittam Samashrait. Always hear the glories of the Lord. Which is that shloka? Natu vipriyatma uttama shloka vikrame yat shrunvatam rasa jnanam swadu pade pade. The devotees never think that, okay, I've heard enough of the Lord's glories. They are always swadu pade pade. They're always like Aniyor, just like how Gordon would do after getting prasad. He would say get more prasad. Devotees would say, get more Harikatha. So that is a devotee. He is never tired of hearing the glories of the Lord. So with his mouth, he would sing the glories of the Lord, and with his ears, he would listen to the glories of the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padan Sevanam. Pehle Shravan hoga, then only Kirtan hoga. So first, he would listen to the glories of the Lord, and when he would listen, he would speak those glories of the Lord. We see that Lord Shiva is always speaking the glories of the Lord to Parvati. The whole Padma Puran, most of the Purans, the conversation is actually between Shiva and Parvati. And Lord Shiva being Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu, Nimnigana yatha Ganga, Devanam acchato yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu, Purananam idam tata. So he would sing the glories of the Lord to to his wife and all the sages. That's where Maharaj Chitraketu also saw Lord Shiva's renunciation and remarked that such an exemplary devotee, that talking about renunciation by having his wife sitting on his lap, only Shiva could do this. So with his ears, he would listen to the glories of the Lord, and he engaged his eyes in seeing the deities of Krishna. And we've got such wonderful deities. Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki jai. Shri Gauranitai ki jai. In fact, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra are even more eager to see us than we are to see them. That is why they don't have any eyelashes. One name of Jagannath is Animesh. He doesn't have any eyelashes, because even gopis are cursing Brahma. We've heard this so many times. Gopis are always, every day Brahma would get reports, news telecast. What is there in the newspaper? Gopis are cursing you. Why are gopis cursing me? Because gopis say that you made these faulty eyes. You've given millions of eyes to Indra to look at Rambha and Urvashi in Swarga. You've given 5 eyes to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Panchanan. Actually, you've given 10 eyes to Lord Shiva. He has 3 eyes. So you've given so many eyes to you yourself. You have 4 heads and you have so many eyes. But for us, you've given only 2 eyes to look at the most beautiful personality in the whole creation, and that is also the windows like eyelids are always coming in between, and our vision of the Supreme Lord gets hindered. Jagannatha Swami Nayanapatgami Bhavatume. So it is like hindrance on our Nayanapat to see the Lord, and that is why Lord Jagannath said, okay, I'll get rid of these beautiful lotus-like eyes, and I'll get Chokka Dola, and I'll see my devotees without any hindrance in between. So Jagannath is even more eager to see us. So with his eyes, he would see the deities of the Lord, and with his feet, he would engage in doing the pradakshina of the temples of the Lord, or going to the holy places. So he is engaged his eyes in seeing the Lord, and he engaged his senses to touch the divine bodies of the Vaishnavas, as in he would always want to serve the devotees. Any devotee, he would want to render some Vapu Seva. He would want to give them some massage on their lotus feet. He would want to cook something for them. So with his touch, he would want to touch the devotees of the Lord's of the Lord, and he engaged in senses of smelling in smelling the fragrances of the flowers and leaves offered to the Lord. Tava upabhokta shak. This verse comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna is telling Uddhav is telling Krishna, oh Krishna, flowers and leaves which have touched your body, which have served you, someone just by smelling them can get free from Maya. Tava Maya, your Maya, someone can get liberated only by just smelling the sandalwood or the lotus petals or the leaves offered at your lotus feet. That is why we see that even Sanat Kumar, the 4 Kumaras, when they went to Vaikuntha, they completely forgot their impersonalistic realization of Paramatman and Brahman when they just smelled the Tulsi Manjari and Tulsi leaves which are offered mixed with Ganga Jal, which were offered on the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna loves Tulsi. Advaitacharya, we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he invoked. He read this in Gautamiya Tantra. Tulasi dalamatrena chalasya chulkena va vikriditam svatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. So he said, he read this in Gautamiya Tantra, that only if someone just offers tulsi leaves and manjaris mixed with Ganga water on the lotus feet of the Lord, that Supreme Lord who is sadhu grastharidayam, his heart is completely controlled by the planet like devotees. That Supreme Lord sells himself to such a person who offers tulsi and Ganga water on him. And Advaitacharya, being compassionate on the living entities, he called out to the Lord, Hunkrit. He rode every day and he wept in front of his Shaligram Shala, and he asked the Lord to appear. And his roaring was so intense, not in the voice, not in the decibels, but in the intensity of heart, that it penetrated the material manifestation. It straight away went to Vaikuntha. When it went to Lord Krishna's lotus feet, Lord Krishna's lotus ears, and then Lord Krishna manifested as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Shachinandana Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. So he engaged his senses in touching the bodies of the Lord. He engaged his senses of smelling in smelling the fragrances of tulsi offered to the Lord, and he engaged in his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. He engaged his legs for walking to the holy places. And his head bowing down before the Lord. If we see this way, Prabhupada has actually prepared the whole list and prepared the whole curriculum how to make us follow the footsteps of Amrish Maharaj. Every day we begin by bowing down to Vaishnavas, to the Lord. Every aarti we are smelling the flowers offered to the Lord. We are walking, we are going to Dham, we are doing production of the temple, we are cleaning the temple. Brahmacharis have to do Maha cleaning today. So we are cleaning the temple. We are all what Amrish Maharaj is doing, our favorite thing, eating prasad. Amrish Maharaj accepting prasad with his tongue. We are doing that. So Prabhupada is actually preparing all of us and has ensured a full proof plan to make us go back home, back to Godhead, by if we follow what Amrish Maharaj is doing. And Amrish Maharaj is a grahastha, by the way. So Prasad, he engaged his legs for walking to the temples, his head in bowing down, and all desires in serving the Lord. 24 hours a day, indeed, Maharaj Amrish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses, devotional service, in various engagements related to the Lord. This way, he increased his attachment for the Lord, and he was completely free from material entanglements. Savam mana Krishna padaravindo. So his mind and his heart and his body, everything he would use in serving the divine body of the Lord, and he would only desire to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Amrish Maharaj, as I was saying, he was unattached and he was resolved in serving the subjects in the mood of service to his to his people. We see that love towards God automatically reflects as love towards humanity, because we see each and every person to be the creation of the Lord. One cannot like a painting and hates its artist, or one cannot love the artist but hate his painting. So similarly, when we see that Krishna is the painter and we see the world as his painting, so if you love your child, and if your child comes with a drawing, no matter how ugly it is externally, you will not throw it in the bin, or you will not tear it. You will actually cherish it because it is made by your child, because you are attached to your child. You love your child. So similarly, when someone is wanting to love Krishna, they will automatically love Krishna's children, the humanity. That way, devotees are the biggest humanitarians. It is quite possible that a good man might not be a devotee, but it is never possible that a devotee will not be a good human being. Prabhupada would say, someone asked Prabhupada, how would someone recognize who is an ISKCON devotee, who is a devotee in your movement? Prabhupada said, they will be perfect ladies and gentlemen. So they'll be perfect ladies and gentlemen means they have all the qualities which are needed in this iron age: humanity, compassion, humility, and all what Radhanath Maharaj emphasizes on. So Amrish Maharaj would take care of his subjects with all love and with all detachment. And just thinking about his subjects, he fasted he did an Ekadashi, Dwadashi Pradhan Ekadashi, and he did it for a year. So actually some places say that he did it for 3 years. So he did an Ekadashi Vrata, and for that Ekadashi Vrat, when it was time to actually break that fast, he went to Madhuvan, he went to Vraj to break his fast, and he fed, he very nicely he worshipped the deities of the Lord. He fed sumptuous prasad to all the Brahmanas and the devotees and the Vaishnavas, and he gave charity. He gave 60 crore cows, all bedecked with golden horns and silver hoofs, to Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and he fed them and he served them till their heart's content. And now, along with his family and all his subjects, where he was fasting, he was almost about to break his fast, where suddenly he received an unexpected guest, a very dangerous guest. We all know Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa is one person whom no one wants to mess with. You want to mess with anyone, but not Durvasa. So Durvasa Muni comes, and Amrish Maharaj was not scared. He was thinking, Sadhu, Sadhu, oh, what great fortune I have that I have got such an exemplary devotee to serve. One more devotee to serve. Krishna must be really pleased by my Ekadashi Vrata. So he's thinking that the result of his Ekadashi Vrata is that he's getting to serve Durvasa. This is the mood of a devotee. That a devotee is all, as I said, Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. He is always wanting to render more service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Badika. If my devotees are to be worshipped even more than me, so my devotees are supposed to be revered even more than me. So he was thinking in this mood, and he told Durvasa Muni that, oh Mahatma, this is my greatest fortune, or sage, that you have come to this festival where I'm about to break my fast. Please let me serve you. Let me offer you sumptuous prasad. Let me worship your lotus feet and break my fast with your blessings. So Durvasa Muni said, of course, sure, O great king, let me just go do my Gayatri. I'll just go, I'll take a dip in Yamuna and come back, and then we'll break the fast together. So Amrish Maharaj said, okay, we'll wait. So Durvasa Muni went into Yamuna, did his snan and meditated on the Lord, but he was so absorbed in the meditation of the Lord that he lost track of time. Over here, on the other part, Amrish Maharaj is concerned because the time of Paran is about to come, and we're talking about Satyug where technicalities were very important. So if he did not break his fast during that Paran Muhurta, the whole year of fasting would actually go in vain. And the fasting was done for the welfare of his subjects, welfare of the whole world, the entire creation. And so now this is a very important lesson over here. Sometimes we are concerned, and sometimes we are put in situations where we don't know what to do, what not to do. We are confused whether go to the temple or whether go to the party tonight. What should we do? So in those times, the Lord in the heart is actually guiding us. So the Lord in his heart guides him that, oh Amrish, if you just drink a little bit of water, it is like you've broken your fast. You've eaten but you've not eaten, because water is not actually food. So it is like you've broken your fast but you've not broken your fast. So Amrish Maharaj, and it was not that he was whimsical in nature. He just did it. He went to the Brahmanas, he went to the Vaishnavas and told him that this is what my knowledge but this is what the culmination of my knowledge is. Please guide me. So sometimes we might think that, okay, this is what is there in my heart, and this is what I should do. No, we should go to Sadhu and Shastra and verify what comes in our heart. Because it is true that Paramatma from the heart reveals, but it is also true that we might not be pure enough to listen to what the Paramatma in our heart says. So, because it is just like, if you keep a diamond if you put charcoal in water, and if you put diamond in it, the diamond is there, but you will not be able to externally see it because it is covered with charcoal water. So similarly, Paramatma is in our heart, and he does guide us, but we won't be able to get that guidance on the preliminary stage, because we also have charcoal water like anarthas in our heart, desires in our heart. We might confuse what our mind says and what our soul says. And there have been past examples where murderers have been convicted, and they were in the psychiatric tests, and the psychiatrist said that he was convinced that God asked him to kill. So if people start doing things whimsically and say that, okay, this is what Paramatma in my heart is saying, then the world could just go in a lot of turbulence. Kali Yuga is anywhere there, and it'll manifest much more if we actually just do things whimsically. So Amrish Maharaj goes, and takes guidance from the sadhus. He says, "Oh sadhu, what should I do?" And sadhus say, "Oh Amrish Maharaj, this is a very good idea. Please have some water, and then wait for your guest, Atithi, and then break your fast." And Amrish Maharaj sipped a little bit of water. It was not that he took gallons of water. He took a bottle of water. He just took a few sips of water just to break his fast, do the rituals, and waited for his guest. Now when Durvasa came, he realized that, oh, Amrish had drunk water. And His Holiness Radha Govind Das Goswami Maharaj, in his beautiful way of doing Hari Katha, he says, "To kya ho gaya agar pee liya pani to?" So what if he drank some water? So Durvasa took a lot of offense that how dare he drank water. He was supposed to wait for me. So immediately he took out some hairs. You got to be really angry to do that. So he took out some hairs from his scalp, and immediately he threw it on the floor, and push, a fire demon manifested. That is why brahmacharis are mostly shaven head, because next time if you get angry, you cannot just manifest these demons for us. So okay, so anyway, so he manifested this demon, fiery demon, and that fiery demon was created to chase Amrish and kill him. But Amrish Maharaj did not run. He was just standing, surrendering to the Lord. If the Lord wishes this to be my fate, I shall accept it with happiness. And similarly, and at the same time, the Sudarshan Chakra of the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested, and it immediately killed the fiery demon. And Bhagavatam says, how did it kill? This fire demon was made by the fire, made with fire, and the Sudarshan Chakra was also fire. Have you ever heard fire extinguishing fire, or fire burning fire into ashes? Because it is said that in Bhagavatam, that fiery Sudarshan Chakra burnt that fiery demon into ashes. Now this is actually Krishna's Swarat nature, that he can do anything. We know that story where Narad Muni is in Vaikuntha, and he tells Lord that on my way I met a cobbler and I met a Brahmana. The cobbler and Brahmana both asked me a question: when will they come? When will they get liberated? The Lord said that, okay, just tell them what I was doing. They'll ask you a question, what I was doing in Vaikuntha. So tell them that I was, through a needle, I was taking an elephant out from the needle. And tell this to the Brahmana and tell this to the cobbler. So when he went to the Brahmana, he told him that the Lord was actually taking out an elephant from the needles, that tiny hole of the needle. He was taking that elephant out. The Brahmana said, "Oh, you're lying to me, Narad Muni. You might be an imposter. How can someone do this crazy act? How can an elephant go through a needle?" And he went his way. And when he went to the cobbler was in tears, and he was saying, "Hari, Hari, Hari, Hari. So glorious is my Lord." Just like how from this tiny seed the whole tree can manifest, the Lord in his glorious acts is doing his wonderful pastime of taking the elephant out from the needle. So this is what Lord's Swarat nature is. He can do anything. So from his fiery Sudarshan Chakra, we see that if you the fire brigades, they pour water in the fire. Have you ever seen fire brigades with their fire cannons burning the fire with their fire cannons? They've got water cannons they put water in the fire. So anyway, so the Lord's Sudarshan Chakra burnt the fire demon into ashes, and then the Sudarshan Chakra didn't stop there. It started chasing Durvasa, and Durvasa ran. In fact, if Durvasa would have been in Olympics, he would have become the first in all the marathons. He could run on the water. He could run on the hill. For the entire year, he was just running. Such was Durvasa's endurance. In fact, all the racers and all the athletes would actually worship Durvasa's lotus feet if they would see Durvasa, if he would have been in this world right now, because he's such a great runner. So he ran, and Sudarshan Chakra chased Durvasa. So he ran, he went inside the burrows of the mountains. He went inside the caves and he went inside um, the water. But Sudarshan Chakra, the fiery Sudarshan Chakra, burnt even inside the deep oceans. So then Durvasa finally went to Brahma. And Brahma said, "Stop right there. Don't come. This Sudarshan Chakra is behind you. This might burn my whole Brahmalok." Vishnu, only when he twitches his eyebrows, he can vanquish the entire creation, including me. And you have insulted his devotee. I cannot help you. Please go from here before the Sudarshan Chakra burns my Satyalok. And then Durvasa goes to Lord Shiva. He's Bhagavatam, we read the shloka that he's an expansion of Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva is also Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. How can he tolerate someone who has humiliated or insulted a devotee? So Lord Shiva said that, "Durvasa, I can't help you, but I can give you a suggestion. Go to the Supreme Lord himself. Practically, just the person who has the who owns the weapon can actually control the weapon. So I cannot do anything. You should go to Vaikuntha." And this might be the only time when the Supreme Lord actually refused someone who came in their shelter. When Durvasa went to Vaikuntha, the Lord said, "Durvasa, I can't help you because you have insulted, you have done an offense against my devotee. Sadhuhi grasta hridayam. I am completely controlled by my devotees." If we do Vishnu Ninda, if we are doing offenses against the Lord, we are doing offenses against his body. But if we are doing Vaishnav Ninda, we are actually piercing an arrow in the heart of the Lord, because devotees are there in the heart of the Lord. So if someone actually hurts you on your hand, it is an offense. But if someone actually shoots an arrow in your heart, it is a more greater offense. It is a greater offense. So the Lord said that only taking the shelter of the person you've humiliated, you've insulted, and you've offended can actually save you. Otherwise, I cannot help you. And Durvasa runs back to Vrindavan, and he falls on the lotus feet of Amrish Maharaj and says, "Amrish, please save me from this Sudarshan Chakra or I'll be killed today." And Amrish Maharaj was really embarrassed because he was not egoistic. Now you see your position. Now you know who you are. No, he was actually embarrassed that such a great yogi, such a great devotee of the Lord is actually on my feet. And immediately he prays, "Oh Lord, if me, or if not me, or if my family members, anyone have done any pious deeds, or if they've somehow pleased you, even in the slightest way, please take your Sudarshan Chakra back and forgive Durvasa." And immediately the Sudarshan Chakra vanishes. And then Durvasa tells Amrish, "Oh Amrish, what is the greatest fortune? Now I know the greatest fortune of the devotees. You are so wonderful. You are so wonderful that the glories of the devotees, that who can actually harm these devotees? Who can talk about your glories? You've saved my life. You've saved me from the Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord. And even though I did an offense against you, your humility knows no bounds." So he was praying in that way, and he said, "Oh Amrish, how can I please you? Ask for a benediction from me, and I want to serve you. Now I know the glories of the Lord." And Ghanshyam Prabhu also, most 90% of the times, if you hear his lectures, he says Madurepi Samapayam, that everything ends with something sweet. So Durvasa said that, "I want to offer you a benediction." And Amrish said, "I just want one benediction. Please sit down. Let me serve you. Let me serve you Samchas Prasad. And this is the only benediction I want." And then he served Durvasa. And then Durvasa realized, "Oh, for the entire year when I was running, you had not eaten anything. So you fasted for 2 years. Now please sit and have Prasad." And then that day, Durvasa actually turns into a devotee of the Lord, because he sees the power of the devotees. I was listening to the audio book, The Journey Home, by Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and a very great realization Maharaj shares. That is that when he went to the Himalayas and the mountainous regions, he met a lot of Naga sadhus. He met a lot of yogis who could actually lift themselves up on air and meditate. Who wouldn't eat for days, who wouldn't sleep for days, and they would just meditate. And they would, they would get high on ganja. They would roam around naked, and they would have these mystic powers. And compared to when Maharaj mysteriously, when he goes to Vrindavan, he sees that the devotees of the Lord are not doing any such austerities. They are having nice prasad, they're sleeping, they're comfortably living. But when they are glorifying the Lord, there are streams of tears coming from their eyes. There is love and separation oozing from their hearts, and their hearts have completely melted, talking about the divine pastimes of Lord Krishna. And then he thinks that these yogis in Himalayas, they've done a lot of austerities, all glories to them, but their heart have not been drenched in Hari Katha. They've not developed that love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we see Durvasa might be a great yogi, but Amrish, being a grahastha, the ways which I told how he served the Lord in different ways, he had completely melted and he had completely submerged his heart in the love of God. And that is the greatness of the Bhagavad Marg, because Bhagavad Marg does not give you any mystic powers. It makes you a great devotee of the Lord. So we see that that Durvasa learns this, and he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. And in Dwapar Yuga, he even goes to Vrindavan and gets mercy of Srimati Radharani. He personally gets to eat the mud laddu which Radharani, the small lali, made. And Durvasa very humbly offers her this benediction that, "Oh Radharani, you will be such a good cook that once you've prepared a dish, you won't be able to prepare that dish again. You will be such a great cook." That is why Prabhupada would say the kitchen belongs to Srimati Radharani. So we've talked about Durvasa, who's an expansion of Lord Shiva. We spoke about Dattatreya last time. Quickly, we'll just cover the moon expansion, the expansion of Brahma. So this verse comes from Chaitanya Charitamrita. We know that the moon is in the sky, but for us, the only moon we should aspire is Sri Gaur Chandra. So this verse comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Akalanka Gaura Chandra Dila Darshan Sakalanka Chandra Kauno Prayojan. That, when we know that it was actually lunar eclipse when Mahaprabhu appeared, that what is the need of a Sakalank Chandra when a Kalank Gaura has risen from the kingdom of God, when he has come to this world and to offer Krishna Chandra, then why do we need a Chandra which actually has spots in it? And we see that Krishna has 24 and a half moons on him. There's one more consort of Krishna, Chandra Avali. Avali means a row, and Chandra. So actually, Radharani doesn't like when Krishna calls him Chandra, because calls her when Krishna glorifies or compares her beauty to Chandra, because Radharani says, "Oh, you are remembering Chandravali, that is why you are calling me comparing me to Chandra," and Radharani gets angry. And then Krishna thinks, "Oh, I was just trying to glorify the beauty of Srimati Radharani. I did not mean to say this." And then all those Man Leelas happen. And so Gaur Chandra, who has come to give this Radha Bhav, who has come to give this love in the mood of conjugal relationships, which no one has ever given, when he has come and when he has risen from the ocean of the love, the lovely ocean, then what is the need of this Circalang Chandra, the moon with the spots? This actually tells why there was a lunar eclipse when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So this also, while Lord Ramchandra is called Ramchandra, he was born in the, he appeared in the Surya Vamsha, but he is called Ramchandra because when Lord Ramchandra was, there are many reasons, but it was, he was like the moon of the eyes of Dashrath Maharaj. And when Lord Ramchandra went to Dandakaranya, everyone was uh, waiting for Lord Ramchandra just as the chakora bird waits for the moon to rise. Their eyes were waiting for Ramchandra to come back like that. When Lord Ramchandra was young, he's always young, but when he was like a little boy, he was desiring the moon, and Kaushalya, he wanted the moon to sleep next to him. So Kaushalya Maya took a bowl of water and placed it in such a way that the reflection of the moon would come in the water, and said, "Oh Lord Rama, oh Rama, the moon is sleeping with you. Please sleep, please sleep." And then she would make Lord Ram sleep. And that supreme personality of Godhead, when he's doing such wonderful childlike pastimes, that just melts the hearts of the devotees. It's already 41. We have to stop soon, so I'll stop here. Any questions, comments, or suggestions? Yes, bro. Take study too. Okay, okay. So Ishvara, the chief of demigods. So, so what was your question, Prabhu? Sometimes even Lord Krishna is called as Maheshwar. Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. Sarvaloka Maheshwar. Even Krishna is called Maheshwar, although here it represents to it means Lord Shiva, because he is also the controller of the entire creation. It is said that all the jivas are actually sons and daughters of Shiva and Shakti, because when the Lord glances at the material manifestation, which is at which is not active, when he glances, that glance is actually also called Shiva. That is actually Shiva Tattva. So, and that Shiva Tattva is actually non-different from Vishnu Tattva. So, actually, the second Nama Prad is that to see the names of to see the names of the demigods, to see the names of Brahma and Shiva to be non-different from Vishnu. When they say that there is no difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, this is the Shiva which they are referring to, because this Shiva is also Vishnu Tattva, and he is the controller of the whole manifestation. That is why Lord Shiva is called Maheshwara here. So that is one more. We talked about Vaishnav Ninda. Anyone who is actually differentiating or who's creating differences between Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva is actually doing a very big Vaishnava Prad, because the second Prad is Sri Vishnu. I am not remembering the shloka right now, but the Sanat Kumar tells us that there is no difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna in that way, because that Shiva is also Vishnu Tattva. He is golden in complexion, and he is always engaged in serving the lotus feet of Krishna. He is always meditating on Krishna. So, was that your question? So your questions are always so scholastic. I don't find myself to be qualified enough to answer them. So I would actually ask some senior authorities and get back to you. Although my limited sense of knowledge might comprehend this to be Lord Shiva, because he's also the master of the ghosts and goblins, and all the jivas who are in tamogun. So sur and asur. So asureshwara. This is my own contemplation. I don't know. I will ask some senior authorities. Maybe Ishwar Prabhu can help you in this. Any other questions, comments, or suggestions? Yes. Thank you so much. Drunk water. See, he might be on the Brahman realization or Paramatman realization of God, because Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kangshati. We clearly see that Durvasa Muni at that stage was not on this platform. So this doesn't mean that he is not a devotee. He's a devotee, just like we have Kanishta, Madhyam and Uttama. Kanishta Adhikari is actually very prone to do offenses towards the holy names, towards Vaishnavas. Nama Prad, Nama Bhas, and Shuddhanam. So first, on the preliminary stage, everyone is doing Nama Prad. So we see that Durvasa, it is quite possible that he might be on the Brahman or Paramatman realization, or he might be a very new. He might be a very new fight, and as I mentioned, how Radhanath Maharaj also comes through this, has this encounter that these great yogis are very mystical and very powerful in their nature. They would be so much absorbed in their meditation. Now, even if they're meditating on the impersonal Brahman, they are somehow avidhi purvakam. They are actually somehow, they are meditating on the Supreme Lord, although they've not realized the full-fledged realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they're still meditating on the Lord. And in that meditation, it is not to be very surprised about that they would be very absorbed in. Because yogis, the only thing yogis have to do is that they have to meditate on whatever they are meditating. So he was very absorbed in his meditation on the Supreme Lord's. Maybe I'm guessing he might be on the impersonal platform, because I was listening to Radha Govind Das Goswami Maharaj's lecture yesterday on Amrish Maharaj's Katha, and I was listening to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's Katha on Amrish Maharaj as well. And Maharaj said that he was meditating on the Supreme Lord. So, quite possible that he might not get that realization. Because he's definitely not as advanced as Amrish Maharaj for sure. That is why he actually did that offense. Otherwise, because we see that Amrish Maharaj never ever committed an offense. He was never ever even proud. He was embarrassed when Durvasa Muni bowed in front of the feet of Amrish Maharaj. So Ishwar Prabhu is saying that he's adding to the point, and he has actually answered your question, Prabhuji, that he's so we see that even bhakti is done in Satagun, Rajagun and Tamagun. We in chapters ahead we will actually come to the chapters where Daksha is being described. Daksha was a devotee of the Lord. When he would do sacrifices, the Lord would personally come with his associates and accept his offerings. But he did an offense towards Lord Shiva. So devotee of that caliber, he's also prone to doing offenses only when this happens is that when a devotee is doing this out of his self-ego, when he wants to satisfy his ego, not satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when it is done out of pride, or when it is done out of that false ego, then we are very prone to do offenses like that, even if we are on a very high stage. That is why Rup Goswami says, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Yana Karmana Vratam Anukulana Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. Devotee is not hankering behind a position, or not trying to show that I am greater than someone. Just like how Ishwar Prabhu said that Durvasa had this envy towards Amrish. He had this arrogance in him that I am better than Amrish in such ways. I'm a Muni, I'm a sage. No, that was his fault, and that was the reason of his fall down. Does that answer your question? Yes, Rose. Your understandings are always very profound, Prabhu. So whatever your understanding is, that is also. I heard in His Grace Kansham Prabhu's lectures on Brihad Bhagavatamrit that Lakshmi and Saraswati are always meditating on the qualities of. Sorry, Parvati and Saraswati are always meditating on the qualities of Lakshmi Devi. We see that when Narad Muni actually came to Shiva, Parvati was glorifying the bhakti and the devotion which Lakshmi had. And then Lord Shiva called Narad Muni privately and he said, oh, actually, Prahlad Maharaj is even greater devotee than Lakshmi. So Parvati Maya and Saraswati ji, they are always in their meditation and appreciation on the divine qualities of Lakshmi ji. And even for Gaudiyas, we see that, even Parvati is meditating as Simhantini on the beautiful form of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Parvati asks Shiva that what about the people who cannot actually chant Vishnu Sahasranam? What is the remedy for them? And then Shivji tells her that they can just chant Rama Rama Iti, Rama 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 Iti. Just chanting Ram's names 3 times, you get the benediction of chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. Parvati tries that, she does not get any essence out of it. She tries Krishna Nam, she's not getting any essence in that, any pleasure in that. And then she starts chanting Gauranga, 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 and she dances in ecstasy. So Parvati is always, for us, Parvati, Saraswati, Ramba, Hemavati, anyone, they're always absorbed in the glories of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Does that answer your question? Satisfying? Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.